Ibn Arabi often talks about the order of reality and its relationship. For example, he explicitly discusses high and low order as symbolism of fathers and mothers or husband and wife, as can be seen in his Futuhat chapter 11, entitled Regarding Our Fathers, the High Things, and Our Mothers, the Low Things. Quote, God placed between heaven and earth a supraformal conjunction and an attentiveness toward the children, the minerals, plants, and animals which he desired to bring into existence in the earth. He made the earth like the wife and the heaven like the husband. The heaven casts something of the command that God revealed to it into the earth, just as the man casts water into the woman through intercourse. When the casting takes place, the earth brings out all the strata of the engendered things that God has concealed within it. Hi, I'm Angga Rifka. It's interesting to simply discuss Ibn Arabi's view of the relationship between husband and wife, or fathers and mothers, in all aspects of this reality in this video. If you like what I do, please like, subscribe, and share my videos. This channel is not monetized. You can help this channel out monetarily, be it Patreon or PayPal. Thanks in advance for your support. The soul acts as intermediaries between bodies and spirits, possessing qualities from both sides. Therefore, souls are described as imaginal because they exhibit characteristics of both light and darkness, intelligence and ignorance, higher and lower states, and so forth. Due to their connection with bodies, souls are deeply influenced by bodily attributes. Spirits represent pure light, while souls embody darkness and are imbued with elemental qualities. The physical body in its essence can be disregarded as it is lifeless, resembling a corpse. However, the body gains significance when it is enlivened by the soul. The living body cannot be separated from the soul. They are inseparable. The soul perceives bodily pain and pleasure as genuine experiences, since life and sensation are attributes of the soul, not the body. Therefore, the soul is synonymous with our embodied self. Quote, our locus of manifestation is between spirit and body, the result of a union of embracing and pleasure. The soul, as a realm of imagination and reflection, embodies the vitality and brilliance of the spirit, while the body is lifeless and devoid of light. The soul can be seen as the face of the spirit turned toward the physical world, which is characterized by limitations and material density. When the soul turns inward, it recognizes its intrinsic connection with the spirit. This inner realization marks the path towards spiritual enlightenment and human perfection. Souls possess an elemental nature since they are deeply influenced by physical attributes and the characteristics of four elements that constitute the body: earth, water, air, and fire. Consequently, the soul manifests the qualities associated with these elements. In contrast, the spirit is pure luminosity, existing beyond the domain of the elemental realm. Human beings are not simply spiritual entities or purely physical entities, but a combination of both. The spirit represents the higher metaphysical aspects associated with consciousness, essence, and the divine nature. On the other hand, the body represents the lower material aspect associated with physicality, sensory experiences, and the tangible world. Due to the results of the marriage of spirit and body, human beings come into existence. The I with whom I identify is precisely my soul. Quote, I come not from one, that I should declare him one, but from a group of fathers and mothers. From a cosmological standpoint, the emergence of human beings is the outcome of a union between multiple qualities found within both the spiritual and physical realms, rather than being directly created by God. According to this cosmological framework, heavenly and earthly qualities act as instruments through which God brings about the creation of the human universe. However, it is important to note that these instruments themselves are not the final manifestation of God's creation, but rather serve as intermediaries in the process. Looking at the cosmos, human beings come into being through a union of various characteristics found within the spiritual and physical realms. They are not directly brought into existence by God. According to this cosmological understanding, the heavenly and earthly qualities, often referred to as fathers and mothers, serve as the means through which God shapes the human creation. Quote, hence he who declares his creator one speaks truly, and he who affirms causes speaks the truth. If you look at the tools, it will take long before the attribution goes step by step to the essence. But if you look at him, while he brings us into existence, we will uphold his oneness without any groups. The unique entity alone gave birth to me. All people have the same father, but different mothers. It is quite strange that Ibn Arabi refers to God as Father, which sounds Christian connotation of the term. It's important to note that Ibn Arabi uses the term father, all people have the same father, as a metaphorical term to express the very quality of ontological father as the husband, which is functionally different from ontological mother as the wife. Quote, everything that exercises an effect is a father, and everything that receives an effect is a mother. That which is born between the two from the effect is called a son or a child. Hence, in the context of who I am, I is the soul, which is the son, brought about by the marriage of the spirit and the body. Quote, the goal of this cosmos was the human being. Human beings are the leader of all things. Hence we attributed the fathers and mothers to them. We set our fathers the high things and our mothers the low things. He made subservient unto you whatsoever is in the heavens and whatsoever is on the earth altogether. Truly in that are signs for a people who reflect. On the one hand, we have a variety of fathers because of the qualities of the spiritual world. On the other hand, we all have but a single father because of the oneness of God. This is a cosmological application of the principles of incomparability and similarity. From the first point of view, creativity is God's alone. From the second, it is reflected within the creaturely realm. Quote, the spirits are all fathers, while nature is the mother, since nature is the locus of transmutations. When the spirits turn their attention toward the pillars, that is the elements which are receptive toward change and transmutation, the children, that is the minerals, plants, animals, and jinn, become manifest in nature. The most perfect of these is the human being. Ibn Arabi alludes to the fact that everything that exercises an effect is a father, and everything that receives an effect is a mother, and everything that is born from the marriage of two is the child. It indeed provides a framework for understanding the relationship between causes, effects, and the roles they play. Ibn Arabi establishes a relationship between cause and effect. According to him, anything that has the power to exert influence or bring about an effect is considered a father. This can be understood as the active principle or the doer. On the other hand, anything that is receptive and affected by the influence of another is considered a mother. This represents the passive principle or the recipients of the effect. When the doer, father, and the recipient, mother, get married, the outcome or result of their marriage or sexual intercourse precisely is referred to as a son or child. This suggests that the manifestation or birth of something new arises from the union or the sexual intercourse of the doer and the recipient. Here we can see that Ibn Arabi often uses a sort of this triplicity in the mystery of creation. In spite of that, we can also expand such a functional triplicity in the context of marriage in a broader sense and framework. Let's further explore the metaphor of fathers and mothers as ontological reality in many other relevant examples. Suppose we have a seed and the soil. The seed, with its inherent potential and ability to influence, acts as the father. The soil, being receptive and influenced by the seed, acts as the mother. When the seed is planted in the soil, their interaction gives rise to the growth of a plant, son or child. Here the seed exercises an effect where the soil receives the effect, and the resulting plant is the product of their union. Ibn Arabi himself takes speech as one of his examples. Quote, "The speaker is a father, the listener is a mother, and speech is a marriage. What comes to exist from this within the understanding of the listener is a son. Every father is high since he exercises effects. Every mother is low since she receives effects. And every determinate relationship between the two is a marriage and a turning of attention. Every result is a son. From here one understands the words of the speaker when he wants someone to stand up. Stand. The object of desire is achieved through the standing. It is the result of the effect of the word stand. If the listener, who is the mother, without doubt does not stand up, then she is barren. And if she is barren, she is not a mother in this state. Even though she is not a mother, I think she always remains a wife due to the fact that she can always receive effects. We must remain aware that the word mother, wife or she does not mean that it has to be female or woman and vice versa, since the word is used to indicate the ontological status of anything who or which has such an active or passive role. Ibn Arabi also demonstrates that the two roles, father and mother, can also play the same role at the same person or thing. He gives us an example of architect. Quote, "If the architect has knowledge but is not well skilled in workmanship, he casts what he has to the hearing of one who is skilled in the work of carpentry. The speech of the architect is a father and the reception of the listener is a mother. Then the knowledge of the listener becomes a second father while his limbs become a mother. If you like, you can say that the architect is a father and the craftsman or carpenter is a mother in respect to the fact that he listens to what the architect casts. If the architect exercises an effect upon him, then he has caused what he has in his capacity to descend into the soul of the carpenter. Then a form appears to the carpenter in his inward dimension. It derives from what the architect casts to him and is actualized in the existence of his imagination as a subsistence and manifests to him. This form stands in the station of the child of the architect to which the carpenter's understanding gives birth. Then the carpenter undertakes his work. He is the father in respect to the lumber, which is the mother of the carpentry. He works with his tools through which the marriage act and the ejaculation of semen take place. That is, every strike with the adze or cutting with the saw. Every cutting, separating and joining of planks is for the sake of configuring the form. Then the chest becomes manifest like the child that is born, coming into the world of sense perception. This is the way you should understand the realities in the hierarchy of fathers, mothers and children and the way in which results are produced. Any father who doesn't have the attribute of working is not a father in that respect. He may have knowledge, but the instruments of communication is prevented from speech or allusion in order to make understood, while he himself is not doing the work. Then he is not a father in every respect. He is a mother to the knowledges that are actualized in his soul. Concerning the pregnancy of the results of the marriage in the common meaning, Ibn Arabi connects the marriage act with the phenomenon of the variation of day and night. It is stated in the Quran, "Then when he covered her, she bore a light burden and carried it about. But when she had grown heavy, they called upon God their Lord, If thou givest us a healthy child, we shall surely be among the thankful." Ibn Arabi focuses on the Quranic verb to cover and highlights its usage to describe the relationship between night and day. He notes that the Quran employs the same root verb with the same meaning in other verses that contain sexual symbolism. Additionally, Ibn Arabi mentions that the categorization of night and day as either father or mother depends on one's perspective. Quote, "Nighttime and daytime are found in time. God made the two a father and a mother because of what he originates through them. He says he makes the nighttime cover the daytime. He says something similar concerning Adam. When he covered her, she bore. Hence, when the nighttime covers the daytime, the nighttime is a father and the daytime is a mother. Everything that God brings into existence in the daytime is like the children to whom a woman gives birth." In the same way, God says, God makes the nighttime enter into the daytime and makes the daytime enter into the nighttime. Thereby he increased explanation concerning the fact that they perform the marriage act with each other through his words, and a sign for them is the nighttime, which throws the daytime out from it. He explains that the nighttime is daytime's mother and that daytime is born from her, in the same way that child is thrown out from its mother when it comes out of her, and the snake throws out from its skin. Hence daytime becomes manifest as a child, in another word, different from the word embraced by nighttime. Here daytime is the father. Hence, nighttime and daytime are fathers in one respect and mothers in another respect. All minerals, plants, and animals that God brings into existence in the word of the pillars, while nighttime and daytime turn round about, are called the children of daytime and nighttime. God made both daytime and nighttime female and male in order to produce the results, the children, that become manifest among the four pillars. In this, in general, the mother of every effect that is born and becomes manifest in the daytime is the daytime, while its father is the nighttime. The mother of that which becomes manifest in the nighttime is the nighttime, while its father is the daytime. Hence, the nighttime enters into the daytime when the daytime is female, and the daytime enters into the nighttime when the nighttime is female. As a closing for a practical and concrete purpose, it's significant to bear in mind that we as children of our father and mother biologically has to be virtuous to our parents. Note that this is emphasized by the Quranic verse which is placed after the Tawhid command, the most basic teaching of Islam. Quote, "Thy Lord decrees that you worship none but him, and be virtuous to parents. Whether one or both of them reaches old age, say not to them, Uff, nor chide them, but speak unto them a noble word." The reason why we should be virtuous to our parents is that they embody the divine presence, inasmuch as our father and our mother are the doer and the recipients of the marriage act, which brought about our existence in the world. Besides, our parents also reflect the qualities of lordship, as they nurtured us when we were helpless and dependent infants. Our parents were the initial manifestation of Al-Haq's attributes in relation to us as bringing into existence mercy, lordship, and kindness. Therefore, it is crucial to respect their rights and fulfill our obligation towards them. After the belief in the oneness of God, or Tawhid, the most significant duty is to be virtuous to our parents and fulfill their rights to the best of our ability. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.